The WNBA just got a whole lot hotter, all due to the rookie sensation. Caitlin Clark remembers when we said she would change things up, but she is not. Just shaking, she's producing earthquakes. Consider what Caitlin may be doing. What she does best is light up the scoreboard and firing up the fans. However, not everyone is a fan of the Clark. Show in this game versus Seattle. Storm Things got Skylar Diggins, a WNBA player. The veteran practically pushed Clark while she is pumping up the audience, but wait. Smith wasn't done yet. I got into it with Christy Sides, constantly shouting, "Don't touch me." Clearly, the Clark effect exists, and it's getting under some players' skin. But here's the kicker despite all of this drama, or maybe because of it, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are on fire. Let's discuss about this wild game. Against the Seattle Storm, because people, it was amazing, Indiana Fever came out with incredible enthusiasm. In the first half, they led by 28 points. It seemed as if the Fever was playing. On a very other level, Caitlin Clark, she was completely unstoppable. She finished the game with amazing statistics: 23 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds. But what's really striking is how Kelsey improved the whole team's game. Mitchell also excelled. She earned an incredible 27 points for the chemistry. Clark and Mitchell's relationship is in this reality. It seems that they have been playing together for years, not only a few months, and we won't forget Lexa Hall came off the bench. It was a great surprise to hit 6 out. Hall ended with 7 3-pointers, with 22 marks indicating a Fever had armaments beyond Clark, but it wasn't. All peaceful sailing, the Storm attempted to make a comeback in the second half, reducing the advantage to just 8 points. That's when we discovered the genuine personality of this Fever squad. Instead of worrying, Clark and company maintained their cool. They altered their game, tightened their defense, and in the fourth quarter, they simply dominated the final score 92-75. For the Fever, this game demonstrated that the Fever isn't simply the Caitlin Clark team, but a complete the squad with players who they complement one another wonderfully, and with Clark leads the way, and they seem ready to surprise many people in this final. Duration of the season, there's no denying Clark is altering the game since she returned from the Olympic hiatus. It's as if she has struck another gear. Numbers are not rookie-like. That irritates some people. Established players in the league. The event involving Skylar Diggins is not an isolated example. Recall the beginning of Clark was the receiver for the season. And of several harsh, nearly ridiculous fouls. It seems like some veterans wanted to welcome the newcomer in a not-so-friendly, but now it's different. Clark is no longer simply a promising rookie. She is a serious menace. She is guiding her squad makes it to the playoffs, smashing records, and most significantly, drawing massive attention to the WNBA. Arenas are full when the Fever play. TV ratings are over the sky. Clark is performing for the WNBA what few players have managed, and she is making women's basketball is a must-see event. This is causing envy. Some experienced players who spent years building up their professions. They are soon overpowered by the league needs a 22-year-old rookie. Be wary of this rising tension. It may be thrilling for fans, but it is also risky if Clark has an injury owing very violent or aggressive play. Not only will it be a catastrophe for her, but the Fever, but for the whole WNBA. The reality is, the league should honoring Clark. She's bringing in new fans, are boosting visibility and raising a degree of play rather than anger. There should be appreciation, but one thing is certain. Caitlin Clark is not. She came to dominate after backing down. That's precisely what she is doing, and the more she shines, the more intriguing. Let us now discuss the WNBA. Something that makes Fever enthusiasts smile from ear to ear: the amazing chemistry between Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. Lexa Hall was surprised when Clark, a large number of individuals caught the Fever. I wondered how she would fit in with Kelsey. Mitchell had already been the squad shine, but what we're witnessing the court is nothing short of spectacular. Clark and Mitchell create one of the greatest dynamic duos in the league right now. It's as like they have a sixth sense. Clark and her incredible court vision is continuously discovering Mitchell and scoring positions. Mitchell, she is taking advantage of every chance in the game against the Storm. We witnessed this in action. The opposition defense just does not know where to look when these two are court. But the main surprise of the night was Lexa Hall coming off the bench. Had a performance that made everyone rub their eyes to ensure they were seeing Right, 6 out of 7 three-pointers. That's nearly perfection. What does this demonstrate that Clark isn't merely beaming on? On her own, she is raising the whole hull. A former member of the squad, was the main rotation player, currently seems to be an elite sniper while she's on the court. With Clark, and we must forget about Aaliyah, Boston did not have the statistics in this game are explosive. Presence in the paint is vital. She provides Clark and Mitchell with the security be aggressive, since they have a solid defensive anchor if the fever continues. Playing like this with Clark, Mitchell orchestrates the attack. Hull surprises with its persistent scoring threat. From the outside, with Boston controlling the paint, will not only be a playoff, they will be the squad that no one wants to meet in the playoffs. Who would have I assumed we'd have this conversation? The Fever, who finished last the rankings from last season, are now in the midst of the battle for a playoff place, and it's no accident. The victory against the Storm, the Fever, they improved their record to 13-15, places them in 6th position. The overall rankings recall the top 8 clubs make it to the playoffs, which is very a comeback. But what distinguishes this playoff? The race is considerably more fascinating when the Fever are playing, and they are not simply winning. Their dominant teams were examined. Superior, the Fever's remaining program, is very important in every game currently. Essentially a playoff final, and with Clark leading the way, the Fever seems ready for this task. What's actually impressive is how the Fever is improving every game from the start during the season. There were instances brilliant, followed by novice blunders. Now they play with confidence. This year's playoffs feature an experienced club. WNBA playoffs promises to be one of the most interesting in recent history, and a large portion of this is due to the Indiana Fever, headed by their amazing rookie. Are ready to make some noise, but now we need to discuss something that had everyone on the edge of their seats. The intense competition for Rookie of the Year between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Folks, this race is as thrilling as we have a playoff decider on one side. Caitlin Clark is redefining what to be a rookie in the WNBA. On the other, Angel Reese, who is conquering the boards and creating her own history. Let us look at Clark's statistics. Leading all rookies in points, she doesn't only play, but she also gets assists every game. She's playing like an all-star. The veteran had 29 points and 10 assists. As the Mercury MVP stats are not rookie stats, but Angel Reese isn't far away. She is leading all rookies and has an incredible run of rebounds. 15 straight double-doubles are an remarkable achievement for any player, let alone she was a rookie and scored 19 points. She collected 20 rebounds in her previous game. Against the Phoenix, Mercury is what makes this battle even. More interestingly, Clark and Reese are influencing their respective teams. Both players are smashing records, bringing unparalleled attention to League Fever, and Sky Games are among the most viewed of the season. And I'm excited for the next one at the end of this. The Rookie of the Year competition might be one of the narrowest in WNBA history. Players make compelling arguments in there. If I were to place a bet right now, I would say Clark has an edge. Her effect on the Fever's triumph, along with her impressive numbers and attention. What she brings to the league is the one thing is certain. No. Regardless of who wins, the WNBA is the biggest, and speaking of winners, let us discuss anything with a large amount of people thinking big. May Caitlin Clark lead the Indiana Fever to the WNBA championship. During the first year, I know it sounds crazy, we are talking about a rookie leading a squad at the bottom of last season's standings, but given what we've seen, who can claim it's? Let's think about this for a moment. Second, Clark is not your normal rookie. She plays at a level that many all-star veterans have never contacted her. Court vision, her scoring ability, most importantly, her winning attitude are things you often see in gamers. Years of experience in the league. Clark isn't the only one with a fever. Healthy, the overall picture is changing with each game. Mitchell plays the finest basketball of her career. Sure, the path to the crown is lengthy and demanding. There are more. Experience, supposedly more. The league has excellent teams, yet you've seen how the Fever plays on fire. They can defeat anybody. Plus, there's the fairy tale factor. This is when a rookie appears and changes transforming a losing squad into champions. Evolution of the game and illustration, the league received unparalleled interest. Would that be a Hollywood-worthy story? Do you believe this is a weird dream? There is a considerable risk that Caitlin Clark's magic certainly raises the Fever of the WNBA in her debut season. Let me in the comments. It is evident that everyone the anticipation centered around Caitlin Clark has the Indiana fever. Incredible, but it also comes immense pressure is where things get really fascinating. The fever is nearing the last stretch. During the regular season, each game now practically an early final, there is no more space for mistake, no more easy games. It's time to see whether all this buzz really is the enthusiasm genuine or only passing. The question about will Clark and the fever manage this mounting burden thus far? They've surpassed every expectation, and as we reach the playoffs, the game changes, defenses receive harder tactics. More sophisticated, and every possession becomes vital, and we must not forget. Other teams are observing, and they have seen what Clark can achieve and how. The fever is playing, and you may wager on anything. The league's coaches are raking up to discover a solution to stop this. Indiana machine, how about the rest of team players like Kelsey Mitchell? Aaliyah Boston is also carrying a heavy burden. They'll need to be at the top in their game to give Clark the required help at critical circumstances. Coach Christie's teams will also play. She will play a critical role in managing her. Star minutes keep the squad motivated. Simultaneously create plans. Surprise opponents who are already planning particularly for the fever. The future games will be a tremendous struggle. By fire, not just for Clark, but for the whole Indiana fever is located here. Legends are formed at these times. Under maximum pressure, we observe what great players and great teams are really. What are your thoughts on the fever's prospects in the playoffs? Caitlin Clark wins the Rookie of the Year award, but most importantly, do you think the fever may go all the way and win the championship? Give your opinion in. I adore reading your remarks. Think, and I always react when I can. Your thoughts provide views that sometimes I hadn't even thought. Hello, if you appreciated this analysis, I want to be updated on everything occurring in the WNBA. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press that notification bell so you won't miss any videos on the top celebs. In women's basketball, the WNBA has a great time, and united we can follow and debate any developments in this fantastic league. Thank you for looking forward to seeing you soon.